Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your June 2021 mid-month general reading. We're looking at the last 2 weeks of June, and this reading is for the fire sign of Aries. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for taking the time to be here, to tune into these videos, your likes, your shares, hitting that subscribe button, your donations, comments, feedback, those of you who reach out for personal readings. Thank you so much for all your support. So this reading is for the fire sign of Aries for the last 2 weeks of June 2020. Sagittarius for the last 2 weeks of June 2021. That's if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus sign is in Sagittarius. It's also relevant if you're cross-watching for a Sagittarian. But as you know, general readings always resonate a little differently for everyone in the specifics. So watch all of your signs for additional insight and perspective. If any of the readings resonate with you and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading for yourself or perhaps as a gift for someone else, maybe take a deeper look at something, click on the little arrow below, the little description link. You'll see my email address there, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you. Please do email me. I offer a wide variety of readings in all areas of life, and I do readings full time. It is all that I do, so I'm pretty diligent about scheduling in as timely or quickly a fashion as possible. So email me if you're interested. I'd be most happy to hear from you. Okay, Sagittarius. Let's see what's in store for you for the last 2 weeks of June. If you need to know, want to know, I am using the Tarot of Dreams and clarifying with the Radiant Rider-Waite. Sagittarius, we begin with the 9 of Coins, followed by the Devil. Feels a little bit like the Aries reading. We have Justice with the 4 of Swords. The Ace of Cups with the Fool. From the bottom of the deck, the overall focus for the last 2 weeks of June is the 6 of Coins. So the general focus, your energy focus, is the 6 of Coins for the last 2 weeks of June, Sagittarius. And this is a card of giving and receiving. It is often sometimes referred to as the breadcrumbing card, although it can represent that you need to pay more, you need to be more open to giving more, being more open, or more open to receiving, or a combination of those two things. I mean, on its surface, it appears to be a very generous philanthropic scene. You know, it shows, usually shows some version of somebody who is weighing out all of their wealth. They do pretty well for themselves. They have a lot of coins there, and then they periodically hand one out or throw a few out a window or something. But it's a card of someone who has a lot to give or could give a lot, but they're only giving a little. It's a card of giving and receiving. And sometimes it's called the breadcrumb card because you're only giving a little bit of what you really could or should give in a situation. It can also only represent giving what you want, when you want, at your own convenience, meaning that the giving is actually conditioned by your own conditions. It's dependent on your own conditions, which doesn't really make it a free and unconditional way of giving or receiving. So, and I'm seeing here that there is a negative or toxic obsessive cycle with your own independence and self-sufficiency and self-empowerment. Here with the 9 of Coins, which is generally on its own a pretty positive card. It represents somebody who's worked really hard to get to where they're at. Nobody's handed anything to them on a silver platter. You know, it's kind of a self-made man or woman, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, working hard to get to the place where you have security and stability. You didn't ask for anything from anybody else. You can rely on yourself. You don't need to rely on anybody else. However, it is accompanied by the devil, which represents negative cycles, toxic cycles, meaning that it's obsessive energy. But there's something alluring about it too, because the devil fundamentally is about temptation, right? It's about something that we get obsessed with to the point that it becomes unhealthy, whether that's drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, shopping, working, relationships, dependency or codependency, power and control. It represents an unhealthy level of obsession with something. And then we get something out of it because there's something alluring about the devil. It always makes me laugh when the devil is often visually portrayed as some frightening looking, person or beast, or half humanoid, half beastie, horn, forked tails, all that kind of stuff. Because fundamentally, the devil is about enslavement through temptation, right? Something that we want. So the devil would actually, whatever the devil card represents, would actually show up as something tempting, something alluring, right? So, right. So this is clarifying the 9 of coins. For some of you, it might literally be giving in a practical way, like money or resources, or your time or experience, or some combination of all of those things. It feels like there's a situation here that you are maybe giving a little bit to, but not everything that you could, because you're afraid perhaps that it will cost you, that you won't have enough, or that you'll get hurt, or that you'll get taken advantage of. Again, this feels very much like Aries, but not like Leos. Your other 2 sister signs. Some of you, this might be emotional in a relationship. It might be that you're in a relationship situation where you're being asked to give more, you're being wanted to give more, the person is asking for more, or saying, hey, look, you're only giving this bit out. It could be not just financial and material, but it can also be emotional too, because, somewhere along the way, you came to the ideology and the belief system that it was better, safer to rely and depend only on yourself and not on anybody else. Perhaps because you were hurt in the past or taken advantage of in the past or whatever, right? But this energy has become negatively obsessive here. It's clinging to, the devil represents temptation through enslavement through temptation, right? So it represents being bound or being caged by something, right? And what's the devil card clarifying? Independence, self-sufficiency. I can do everything on my own. I don't need anything. I don't need to give out. I don't need to take. I don't need from anybody else but myself. So it's detrimental. And if this is a relationship issue, it may very well cost the relationship, Well, I think it is a relationship issue, but whether or not it's love and romance, or it could be friend, or it could be family. But this level of obsessive energy about your independence and self-sufficiency and not needing or not wanting or not taking from anybody else or asking for help or anything like that, it is in and of itself, as I state in the Aries reading, a form of enslavement. This idea of freedom, when you become so obsessed with all of your choices, making sure that your choices doesn't mean that you're too attached to anything or that you're too connected to anything or anyone, because if you do, then you're vulnerable and you're exposed and you could be hurt or taken advantage of. So I'm not ever going to go there. And all of your decisions and interactions and connections and relationships with people, all of your choices for all your connections and relationships are made from this filter of, is this going to make me feel or make me appear to be needy or needing something from someone, right? Which actually means that what you think is independence is actually enslavement, right? Because anything that you're obsessed with or chained to, you're enslaved to. Even if it's the illusion of freedom and independence, right? Which I feel is what's going on here. Then we have justice, things being right, things being fair, things being in balance, you know, right versus wrong, good versus bad. With the Four of Swords, taking a temporary withdrawal, recovery, recuperation, feeling tired, feeling exhausted, maybe feeling exhausted with trying to, you know, what's the right thing to do here? Maybe I know what the right thing is to do here technically, but I don't want to do it because I'm afraid. You could reverse this too. It could be like your person that's like this, right? Or the person you're in relationship to, regardless of the nature of that relationship. Someone here in this situation is only giving out the minimum that they need to because they don't want to be dependent on someone else. They don't want somebody else to be dependent on them because that's their idea of freedom. But they're so obsessive about it that they're actually enslaved to it. It's not freedom. But I do feel like there's a push and pull going on here and that somebody's kind of exhausted, you know, with fighting this. We have the Ace of Cups, brand new beginnings, new love and romance, emotional renewal, self-love. With the Fool, a brand new journey, taking a risk, stepping off the beaten path and trusting that the universe, if you take this chance, is going to lead you to somewhere beautiful, a brand new journey. The Fool is about doing things you've never done before, things that might seem risky or scary, or, you know, it's starting off on a brand new journey with no specific maybe destination because you're stepping off the beaten path. The Fool doesn't start journeys on paths he's already been on. The Fool steps off the beaten path to discover and explore what's in another direction, right? So it's stepping off to the unknown and trusting. Maybe in new love and romance, maybe just in a relationship where you're being asked to challenge your own belief system and ideology on what a healthy relationship really is, which includes more than one person, right? So let's clarify here. Let's clarify the Six of Coins. Why is the Six of Coins here? Okay. See what popped out there. The King of Wands, there you are. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. The Four of Pentacles, the miser. He doesn't want to give out because he wants to hold his wealth and his resources to himself, because if he gives, he might be left without. I feel like this is coming from your past or the person you're connecting with past. You know, they were hurt or taken advantage of in the past when they did open themselves up. And so because of that, they're very guarded, very protected. The Five of Pentacles, insufficiency and lack. The Four of Swords, again, we have the Four of Swords twice. Yeah, somebody's afraid of the past repeating itself here. Being hurt again, being taken advantage, being left, being betrayed, whatever it is, giving and having nothing to show for it in the end. But still kind of exhausted with the battle of, I want to connect, I want to give more, I want to get closer, and, you know, the other person's asking me to, but yet I'm afraid. And it's a pretty strong fear because, I mean, the Devil is a major arcana card. It's, you know, obsessive energy. It's too much focus. Let's clarify the Devil card with the Nine of Coins. Clarify the Devil. The Hermit. Yeah, this is about walking a solitary path. This is about being completely self-reliant, but with the Devil card to the point that it has become unhealthy. Clarify Justice. The Five of Wands, there's the conflict, push and pull, internal conflict, external conflict with another person where you're fighting about this same issue over and over and over again. The Knight of Cups, who goes charging in and just wears his heart on his sleeve and makes the offer unashamedly. Justice again, justice clarified by Justice. It feels like the right thing for this person to do, whether it's you, Sagittarius, or the other person, is to make the offer. Just to lay it out there, because it's the right thing to do and because it will bring what's out of balance back into balance again. I mean, free will and free agency, right? Whoever's withholding and protecting because they're afraid of a painful past repeating itself, you can stay that way. Technically, it will keep these, the past from ever having the chance of repeating itself, but you also cut yourself off from a lot of beautiful, potentially beautiful opportunities and connections and relationships. Clarify the Fool. Fool, starting off on a new journey, doing something different, new. The Ace of Pentacles. Aces are the number one. New opportunities, a new chance. It's the Ace of Earth, so it's that first step. It's that planting the seeds. It's beginning, right? I'm not even sure what else to say. It seems pretty clear here. But someone needs to face their fears, confront their fears. Confronting your fears meaning that you look at it, that you talk about it, that you share. This is what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of this happening again. And I'm afraid. They say a burden shared is a burden lessened, right? A fear shared is a fear lessened as well. And it's walking through that fear, meaning doing the thing, slow but sure, that you're afraid to do. All right, any final messages for Sagittarius? Any guidance, advice? Final messages for Sagittarius. I mean, this doesn't need to be strength. Facing your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, your inner demons. Pretty good advice from Spirit. I mean, this doesn't have to be a love romance relationship. It can be any other kind of relationship. It could be somebody who's close to you that knows you, who's just challenging this belief system that you've built on fear and pain. So, Spirit is advising you, strength, face your fears, your doubts, your insecurities. Make them yours. Make them the horse you ride rather than the other way around, right? Anything else for Sagittarius? The Fool. Take a risk. Start a new journey, a new process. Do something new. Take a chance. The Wheel of Fortune, divine timing and orchestration. Spirit's got your back. God, Spirit, angels, and guides. Face your fears. Pull those demons out into the light of day and confront them. Maybe not alone, right? Step off the path of doing the things you always do the way that you do them because you always do them that way. Taking a chance and trusting that Spirit has your back here. What a very beautifully clear reading for you, Sagittarius. Okay, Saggy, those are your messages for the last 2 weeks of June. I hope you found them helpful and useful in some way. Again, if you do or did, and you would like to reach out for a personal reading for yourself or as a gift for someone else, feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to hear from you. You can also get that information by clicking on the description link below. Clicking on that little arrow. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the July general readings. Until then, stay safe, stay well, be blessed. Hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.